At first, everything feels easy. The conversations flow, the connection feels natural, there's comfort without effort, and then slowly something changes. They don't disappear all at once, they don't say anything is wrong, but the warmth fades. They respond less, they open up less, they create space you didn't ask for. And the confusing part is this: nothing bad actually happened. Things were getting closer, and right when that closeness started to feel real, they pulled away. This is one of the most painful emotional experiences because it doesn't come with clarity. There's no clear ending, no explanation, just distance where a connection used to be. And when distance shows up without warning, the mind looks for answers. You replay moments, you question your tone, you wonder if you crossed an invisible line. But psychology tells us something important here. When people pull away as things get close, it's rarely about losing interest. More often, it's about fear. Closeness requires vulnerability, and vulnerability means being seen. Not the version of you that performs well, not the version that's easy to like, but the real version. For some people, being seen feels dangerous, not because closeness is bad, but because closeness once came with pain. People who pull away when things get close often learned early that connection wasn't stable, that love could change suddenly, that emotional safety could be taken away without warning. So their nervous system adapted. It learned not to lean too far in, not to rely too much, not to need anyone too deeply. That adaptation may have protected them once, but now, as adults, it creates distance right when intimacy begins. At the start of a connection, there's excitement, novelty, hope. But as closeness builds, expectations begin to form, expectations to be consistent, to show up emotionally, to be available. And for someone who fears emotional responsibility, that pressure can feel overwhelming, not because you're asking for too much, but because closeness activates old fears they never had to face before. Inside, a quiet conflict begins. One part of them wants connection, another part wants safety, and safety to them often looks like distance, so they don't fully commit, they don't fully explain, they slowly pull back, not because they don't care, but because caring feels risky. For some people, closeness triggers the fear of being trapped. They associate emotional closeness with losing independence, with being needed in ways they don't know how to handle, with being responsible for someone else's emotions. So when a relationship starts to deepen, their body reacts before their mind does. Their chest tightens, their thoughts race, their instinct is to create space. They might tell themselves they just need time, or that things are moving too fast, or that they're not ready. But often, what they're really responding to is emotional exposure. Closeness removes the mask. So in the early stages, people can manage how they're seen, they can control the image, they can show up selectively. But deeper connection requires consistency. And for someone who doesn't trust their ability to sustain that consistency, pulling away feels safer than being exposed. They fear disappointing you. They fear failing emotionally. They fear being seen as inadequate. So instead of risking that outcome, they create distance. Distance feels like control. This is why pulling away often happens gradually. They respond less, they share less, they keep things surface level. Closeness forces self-reflection. Being emotionally close to someone means being mirrored. It brings awareness to patterns you may have avoided. Unhealed wounds, old grief, unresolved fears. For someone who learned to suppress emotional pain, distance becomes a way to avoid themselves. This is why reassurance alone rarely fixes the problem. You can be kind, patient, understanding, but if someone's nervous system associates closeness with danger, no amount of reassurance will override that fear, because the fear isn't logical, it's emotional memory. For the person on the other side, this experience can feel deeply personal. You might feel like you were finally being chosen, only to be slowly unchosen. You may start to shrink yourself, speak less, ask for less, hoping that if you don't need too much, they'll stay. But closeness that lasts doesn't require shrinking. It requires two people who can tolerate being seen. Chasing often backfires. Pressure increases fear. Demands increase shutdown. not because your needs are wrong, but because pressure confirms their fear. Sometimes people pull away because closeness challenges their identity. They've built a sense of self around independence, around self-reliance. Distance restores control, and this is why the pattern repeats until it's recognized. Understanding this doesn't mean waiting indefinitely, it means recognizing patterns. If someone consistently pulls away when things deepen, that tells you something about their capacity right now. Not their worth, not yours, just their readiness. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is stop trying to convince someone to stay, not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of self-respect, because closeness should feel mutual, not fragile, not conditional. Real closeness doesn't make people run, it makes them stay. And if someone can't stay when things get close, it doesn't mean the connection wasn't real, it means their fear was louder than their desire, and that's something only they can face.
Support the channel, hit the like and subscribe button.